Understand y'all got some new hard hats for use down there. When you're in that building and you're in a situation where you need to wear a hard hat, please wear the hard hat. Okay, correct? Y'all have situations like that, right? Especially when you're using the crane. Okay, hard hats are to protect you from getting clonked on the head. People drop a wrench or a screwdriver or a hammer from 3 floors up. You don't want that to hit you in the head. It might not be conducive to having a good day. So wear a hard hat. You might bump yourself trying to crawl under, over, around, through something. You need to protect your head to keep from bumping against whatever you're crawling around under, over, or through. And especially if you're working around electrical, circuitry of anything, you need to wear a hard hat. Keep your head from getting electrocuted. When people design hard hats and to meet the ANSI requirements, they have to meet these 4 items. Can't be punctured, got to absorb shock, be water resistant, not conductive of electricity. And if the headband can be turned around, there has to be instructions to say how to do that. Now that's a bothersome thing to me, because I see people on construction sites turning their hat around, you know, like you got your hat right there. But the hard hat, the regular hard hat, has a bill up here. Now, why do you think that bill is on the hard hat? I'll give you, there's 2 reasons. I'm sure every one of you here think of one reason. What's the bill on your hat keeping the sun out of your eyes? Okay, I think we'd all agree on that, right? You know what the other reason for having that bill up, little bill on the hard hat is for? Keep your nose from getting sheared off. If something falls, hits your face, it can take your nose. Have that little bill can deflect it out so you don't run any risk of a nose injury. But if somebody turns that hard hat around, they lose that. So I'm not a big fan of turned around hard hats, but OSHA says it's okay as long as the band can be turned around inside the head so that any kind of adjustment is still at the back of the head. Everybody follow me? How many of you have worn hard hats before? Okay, so you know what I'm talking about, okay? Hard hats are generally good for about 5 years. The little stamp on the inside of the bill tells you the manufacturer's date, month and year. If it exceeds that 5-year limit, don't trust the hard hat. Get a new one. And all these kinds of protective equipment have an ANSI standard to go with them. I'm not going to go much into those. Looks like his day probably didn't go very well. And y'all a fan of Despicable Me? I've got an 8-year-old who probably knows every line in both movies. And he probably knows every one of them's name too. Head injuries, bumps, impacts, shocks, something dropped on, dripped on, all sorts of mean, nasty things like that. The hard hat will be protective against. I've actually seen people wearing hard hats where they have removed the harness and just put the hard hat on their head, thinking that would do them some good. It might keep them getting their scalp lacerated or punctured, but if something heavy falls on them, it's not going to keep them getting a concussion. Any of y'all play football? How many of y'all play football? Ladies too. Any of y'all ladies play football? Ever get a concussion? Okay. I've had one too. It's not fun. If there's anything you do to keep somebody from getting a concussion, you should do it and make sure they have the proper harness and head cushioning material inside that hard hat. Keep you from getting any kind of head injury. I used to have a hard hat that had 2 connections for earmuffs and slots to put a face shield in. And it was designed for folks who do logging work, to keep them getting the wood dust in their face, and from being exposed to the chainsaw noise from the cutting wood, and from stuff falling on the head. The 3-in-1 sort of deal. It's a nice hard hat. They even actually make hard hats like cowboy hats these days. You can get them a variety of colors, designs, your favorite football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer team, whatever you want on them. You can get them pretty much designed to fit your desires or needs. Okay, we'll go through this. Already talked about that. The third item there is very important. Make sure nothing's gone wrong with your hard hat if you're assigned one. If you have just a stack of them down there to pick from, check it out first, because whoever wore it before you may have taken something out. They may have reversed the headband and you don't like it that way. So check it before you put it on. Whoever used it may have expanded the thing to fit their larger head, and you have a small shaped head. You might need to adjust the headband so it fits well and sits on your head good. Always inspect it and check it every day. And don't walk around carrying your lunch or your tools or whatever in your hard hat. Depending on the manufacturer, that will determine how often you have to replace that hard hat. The Bullard Company recommends every 2 years. MSA recommends every 5 years. And there's other manufacturers, North and Scott, and a bunch of them out there. The best thing to do is just look at their recommendations depending on what kind of hard hat you got or buy or whatever have available. Any questions on hard hats? Basic rule of thumb, if there's a chance of something falling on your head, you should wear a hard hat.